For time's sake, I've already cured 2 layers of Lovey-Dovey to this nail stick.
And with Lovey-Dovey, it works really well if you do very thin coats and let them settle before you pop them under the lamp. So not a lot of polish on the brush. I'm just gonna go, my tripod's a little bit wobbly and not working great. So if the camera falls, I'm really sorry. We're gonna try and work around it, but hopefully it'll be okay. So this is just my 3rd coat of Lovey-Dovey, putting it on nice and thin, trying to get rid of the brush strokes. And then before I pop it underneath the lamp, I'm gonna let it settle for a second or two, and that's gonna help get rid of any of that excess brush strokes that are on your nail. This is what I always do with every coat of Lovey-Dovey before I put it under the lamp, because it is a self-settling polish. So it will just kind of settle out any of the brush strokes that are on there. So that is, if you can kind of see what I mean. And then if we just settle it for a little bit here before we pop it under the lamp, then it should get rid of any of the excess brush strokes and make it look like a nice consistent white. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna put it under my lamp. I'm just using the Pro lamp, so it's a 45-second cure. So to save time, I also put out my colors. The colors that I have that I'm using for my rainbow is Strawberry Daiquiri, which is my red. My orange is Mandarin Summer. The yellow is Lemon Merengue, and the green is Sublime. My blue is Crazy for Blue, and the purple is Make Your Mauve. Now that we've got our base, this is the brush that I'm using, my striping brush. I absolutely love this brush. I use the majority of my nail art designs with this brush. Now how I started is I just started kind of in the bottom of my pattern and worked myself up. The biggest way that I find to get nice thin lines, and I'm gonna show you on this just to demonstrate, and then we'll start the actual design. So I run my brush through the purple. We'll just say purple, just for example. Now, if you can see, I'm hoping you can see, there's like quite a bubble on the end of that. So if you were to go and just like put a line on your nail, it's gonna come really thick. What I do is I put my brush in the polish, and then I just kind of pull it on the silicone mat. And then when I go to draw my line, you'll notice that it's a lot thinner. And don't worry if it's not super consistent color-wise, you can always go back and do another coat. So that's just an example and a tip for me as to how I can do my line so thin. So I'm gonna wipe that off now, and we're actually gonna start the design. I chose to start with following the colors of the rainbow. You're also gonna need a nail cleanser pad just so that you can wipe your brush. It's not a hard pattern, it's more time consuming just because you're flipping back between colors. So I'm gonna start with the red. Once again, pulling my brush through my paint, pulling it along my mat so that it's nice and thin. And I just kind of want it, because there's 6 colors, trying to center it. And I just sort of picked a size that I wanted. So then that is my red. Next, I'm gonna wipe my brush. And if you aren't comfortable with this and you're worried you're gonna have to wipe it all off, you can always do a quick flash cure of like 3 seconds just to sort of set the line. Now I'm going through the Mandarin Summer and just kind of putting it closely and the same height roughly. And I got a little extra on the tip there. Once again, just gonna wipe the brush. Next, we're gonna go to the yellow. Yellow is a tough color because it is such a light color. So you will probably need to do 1 or 2 coats to really make it pop on the nail. So just putting my yellow line down now. Moving on to green. Same thing with Sublime, actually. I found that it was very similar to the Lemon Merengue, that I really needed to make sure it popped, kind of go over it a couple of times to make it really pop on the nail. I also find this pattern is a little bit more forgiving, just because it's hand painted. You can tell that it's not 100% perfect because it is hand painted, and that gives it a little bit more of a forgiving look. Next, we're gonna do our blue line. I don't know why I'm so shaky this evening, but I'm really quite shaky. And lastly, we'll do our purple. Yes, Goo, I hear you. Purple too, I don't know why, but I find it really hard to make it pop when I'm putting the line on. Kind of have to go over it a little bit. So that's basically my color blob that I started. And now I'm just gonna put it underneath the lamp and I'm gonna cure it. And I'm not even gonna do a full cure. I'm just gonna do a quick couple second cure just so that we have the actual paint set. Turn my lamp off. Now we're gonna go the other way. I know I wanted to continue same thing, going with the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, going with the rainbow up. So I'm gonna do my red, pull it through. So I have a nice thin line, and I'm gonna make it the same thickness as the color grouping below.
I've gone ahead and sped this section up just for time's sake. So basically all I'm doing is drawing the rainbow over again, doing the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, and the purple lines, only I'm doing them horizontal instead of vertical. You'll note that I actually don't have the design centered very well on the nail, and that's strictly because initially this was on a Facebook Live I was showing this, and I decided to just continue working with it. If I had done it on my actual manicure at home, I would have probably wiped off and centered it a little bit better onto the nail. But like I said, it was a live, so I just decided to keep going and work with it so that I didn't have to keep people on for hours and hours. Just going to do another like 10-second flash cure to set those lines so we don't have to wipe off if we screw up.
Now, what I could do if I wanted is I could continue the pattern over here. So if I was going to continue the pattern over here, unfortunately, obviously the nail isn't very wide. So I'm not going to get all of my colors, but that's okay because you want your pattern to run off of your nail. That's what gives it that continuation look. So you can see I wind up only making it to the green line here on my nail. So what I would do, and this helps to speed it up a little bit too, is once you kind of know your pattern set, you can kind of know where the lines are going to need to go. So this is going to obviously need to be a red line because we're starting the rainbow over again, right? And we're going the opposite direction. So that's what's going to give you that basket weave. And you know that this is also going to be a red line up here because this is another going the opposite direction, the other basket weave. And of course you want to keep it like close to that. That's how you know where you want it to be, like it's following from here to up here. Trying to keep your lines fairly even and same length and size. Okay, so then next we're going to just continue the 2 on there. So we're gonna go with our orange, and you're gonna go your line here. Hopefully I'm making sense as I explain this. And you're gonna also do your line down here. Didn't get enough on my brush. And like I said, it's okay. It looks like your pattern's continuing. You want it to be falling off the nail. So if all you get there is your orange, that's okay. I'm gonna wipe my brush again.
For time's sake, I've gone and sped this little section up as well. But basically all I've done is continue drawing my rainbow, going with yellow, green, blue, and purple across in vertical lines.
So that looks pretty good. You could even go back and do the red line at the top if you wanted, because you know on this particular design that up here the next would be red again. So if you wanted, before you go to flash cure it, we'll just do that next red line. I find if I have my hand or my nail stick on the table, it helps to give me support, and then same with bracing my hand. So I like to have my hand braced against something, and then that way it helps to make the line straight and makes me less shaky.
Just gonna do a quick flash cure again.
Now, on the other side, you know that the rainbow is going to be reversed, right? So I would do the purple line here because you're going to be working your rainbow backwards. And same with down here. And this is going to match up with on this side as well. So you see how it gets a little easier as you go, because once you develop the pattern, then you can do more than one line at a time. You can sort of see where things are going to go and how it's going to look. So
we're going to go ahead and speed this section up. Now just remember that you're going to be working the rainbow backwards. This is why I like to keep my color dots in the order that I'm working in so I don't get screwed up. So obviously you would do purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and then red. And of course, it's all good that the pattern's running off the edge. So if you can't fit all the colors on, not a big deal. That's what we're looking for. We want it to be like that. Once you complete this section, you're going to go ahead and do another quick flash cure just to set the design.
All right. Now, next we're going to, I'm just going to move that out of the way. Our next color would be red, right? So we're going to do red here. And red here as well. And then we're just going to work it up like we did previously.
Remembering that we're going back to our original color scheme of the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then purple. Sometimes it's tough to remember that when you're switching back and forth. So just gotta kind of put your colors in order and follow them based on the next color that's in your color lineup. Because I'm working on a nail stick, I've ended my pattern here. On my nail, I would have continued the whole nail. I'm going to do a 45-second cure now because I've done a complete set of color strips. And then I'm going to go in and just show you quickly here at the bottom what it would look like if you went back and did an additional coat of polish on each line. Just kind of makes those lines pop a little bit more, adds a little more definition, and also helps to kind of get rid of any little baubles or whatever that you made in the initial coat. You don't have to do it, but I just find that it gives it a little bit more pop. And of course I would continue on for the whole pattern, but I'm not going to show you that in the video. Once I did the full second coat, then I would of course cure it for another 45 seconds. And this is how the finished mani looks on my nails. Thanks for watching.